And so after a break, we shall return to our character creation. Is she a she's not a long hair. She is calico. She's a tortoiseshell, but she doesn't have long hair. Maybe medium, short medium. She was the runt of the litter at the shelter, and in an anime, she's like the athletic. She's the Genki girl. All right, so we finished Suera McFly, who is our stout halfling, as we were multiclassing Bard into something else. And now, for our new character, we're going to be multiclassing our heroic Paladin into something else. And so we shall bring up our character randomizer. And Kat, would you please roll a percentile set? It's exclamation point 1D100. Stops on a 60. So we have a male character. Raven, would you please type exclamation point 1D10? We have a gnome. So a halfling and now a gnome. And Hark, would you please roll a D4? Stops on a 2. We have a rock gnome. A male rock gnome. Trefis, would you please type exclamation point 1D100? Stops on a 48. So we have a neutral, a true neutral character. Male, rock gnome. Gnomes are small. Nope, I'm sorry, Raven. It is what it is. We gotta play it where it lies. Now, we already know the level at which we're generating. We're making a level 20 character. Hey, one crit, would you please type exclamation point 1D100? A 57. All right, we're going all ability score improvements. So, all natural. No feats this time. All right, oh sheeps, would you please roll me a D20? Stops on a 6. We have an entertainer. In particular, we have a gladiator. It writes itself, everyone. A heroic paladin, someone who puts on a show, someone who knows how to fight. All right, so we have a gladiator. Whoop, actually. Dysfemist, will you please roll a D3? Exclamation point 1D3. Alright, so we're going to get one specialty from the background. Because it says you could have up to 3, and so we'll just randomly choose it. So in particular, he's good at one thing. And that one... Pardon me. And that one thing is a bubonic one. Would you please type exclamation point 1D10? We do not yet know the second class. Rolls a 6. Okay. All right, there's our placeholder. It's Kitty Morgs. Now, I will roll 2d8 and 3d6 for 2 personality traits, an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. So we have 6, 5, 5, 3, 3. 6, 5. Oops. 6, 5, 5, 3, 3. All right, more placeholders. We don't know what it means just yet, and that's absolutely fine. We're prompting ourselves. We're getting ourselves ready to tell her story, or his story. All right, One Crit. Well, thank you for stopping by. One Crit, before you leave, what do you think we're going to multi-class into? You cannot say Bard, and you cannot say Paladin. So, quick, throw your predictions out there before we roll. Ooh, another sorcerer blend. Like our Bard. Okay. Anyone else have predictions? Bubonic One wants to see a barbarian. Raven wants rogue. Treffus wants a monk. Cat says ranger. Okay. A gladiatorial Sorkadin who mixes combat. Well, all right, I'll tell you, before you leave, One Crit, I want you to roll a d10. Exclamation point 1d10. Lands on a 2. So we're skipping over Bard, so it's not a barbarian, it's a cleric. No, we're not crossing a Bard with this Paladin. Bard and Paladin are off the limits for this. Yep, Pally Cleric. Oh, and in particular, there are 8 different domains. And so, Bubonic One, would you please roll a d8? Stops on a 2. So we have a knowledge domain cleric. All right. So we are going Paladin, Cleric, Hero / Knowledge. Well, maybe this will provide some interesting prompts for you, Treffus. Well, a gladiator that in particular has a specialty in whatever number 6 is. And so if we look real quick to entertainer, as gladiator is a variant of that, 6 is an instrumentalist. Although gladiator might replace that with something else. I'd have to double check here. Does any minstrel make art of combat into a spectacle for the crowd to enjoy? Like professional wrestler. Kind of flashy combat is your routine, though you might also have some skills as a tumbler or actor. Using your by popular demand feature, you can find a place to... Okay, yeah. You can replace the musical instrument in your equipment package with an inexpensive but unusual weapon, such as a trident or a net. And Rebel Vader, welcome. Thank you for the follow. All right, let's go back to our character creator. Here we go. So we have our class and our subclass. Now, Paladin does get a fighting style. And so, Kat, would you please roll a d4? Stops on a 1. So he is a defensive fighting style paladin. Okay. And Trefis, will you roll a percentile so we can find out how old our character is? We roll a 97. All right, so he is ancient. And we have an ancient character. This is probably his last adventure ever. One way or another. Now, what is ancient for a rock gnome? Let's check it out. Da, 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 da. Here we go. All right, ancient. So venerable, like this is someone who's pretty well at the end of... So this is just like 500 plus something years. Yeah, so Katniss, maybe the divine favor is what's kind of, you know, keeping him going and has set him on this one last quest. A character like that is very compelling. You know, don't be afraid to have a character like that who, you know, maybe he or she's tired of watching the world pass by. And it says, you know, I used to be someone, but I can be someone one more time. Sure, you know, my hips aren't as, you know, can't gyrate as much as they used to. Or, you know, I gotta work my shoulder a little bit more to swing my sword. But someone's got to make a difference in the world, and it's up to the people who made the mess to clean it up. Raven, it should be did you check the pinned messages? It should be an Excel spreadsheet you can download in the pinned messages in general chat. Came up with a comeback for when you use a meme on IRL and that person says it's dead. You say to that guy, your face is a dead meme. No, you! They're cursed and cannot die or stop traveling until they find a student. Oh! See, that could work too, Phoenix. Yeah. So he might be looking. You know, he could be like the Templar in the third Indiana Jones movie. Raven, it is mostly this spreadsheet was built on that other one. This just has a couple refinements to it. But there's like 95% correlation between the two. You chose poorly. So you know what? Maybe he even forgot how old he is. We're just going to put he's 500 plus years old. You know, the world needs someone to pass down the lineage to pass down the knowledge, to pass down the blessing. To, you know, as a knowledge cleric and as a hero paladin, we definitely have an ancient figure from the past who's probably prominent in stories that have been told. I think it's an open office document, Raven. Excel or the open office calculator should open it up. A lot of my original documents are open office because I wanted to make it easily accessible for anyone to get to them. Because Office, you know, the Office suite can open it, but you can download OpenOffice for free, and I figured, well, anyone could use that. So, though my more recent ones have been MS Office. All right. So we have our age. Now we need to get Cat. Yeah, whatever. Extra sound effects provided by Cat. So our base weight is 2 feet 11 inches tall. Our height modifier is 2d4. We're adding 7 inches, so he is 3 feet 6 inches tall. And we're gonna take that same 7. We're gonna multiply it by 1 and add that to a base weight, so he's 42 pounds. You know what? I have some, like, ancient study Like an antique office or something like that that we can put on. Antiquarian study. Here we go. It'll get us in the study mood. All right, 3'6", 42 pounds. And now we have all of the prompts that we need to continue to make the character. So if you all have your player's handbooks open, go to chapter 4 and look at Entertainer. As an entertainer or gladiator, we are going to have proficiency in acrobatics and performance. So I'm going to scoot this off to the side so we can see this stuff a little better. Acrobatics and performance. We get a These Guys kit proficiency. And one type of musical instrument. And you know what? We are a gladiator as an instrumentalist, or particularly because we're an instrumentalist, instead of giving him a trident or something, I think we should give him a musical instrument of some kind. There we go. Equipment, an instrument of our choice. It'd probably have to be something ancient, or even a weird device that he conjured himself. Remember, rock gnomes can make little gadgets and gizmos, so maybe he has like a little organ grinder, or he has a music box of some kind. That would be really cool. So he has an instrument, the favor of an admirer. So we're going to have this be a trinket. So someone in his life gave him something that was special. And so that's going to be trinket number something, and we'll roll that in a little bit here when we discover more about his personality. He's going to have a costume of some kind. I wonder what his costume would be. What would he dress up as on a regular basis? And he's also going to have a belt pouch that contains 15 gold. Entertainer routines, well, he's an instrumentalist, so there's that. Feature by popular demand. We can go to places where we're known, and hey, we're an ancient figure from history. A lot of people are going to know this gnome. This gnome is as old as the rocks themselves. Maybe that's why he is a rock gnome. Just because he's been around so long, people thought he's been around, ever since the mountains sprang up from the ground. Oh, a cat. Apparently, cat's laying down the cat paws and is bapping O'Sheeps on the head. A robe for what purpose, though? Like a wizard's robe? Does he masquerade as a wizard? Or what would the costume be, cat? So by popular demand, we can find coin, lodging, maybe even information. And now, in particular, as a gladiator at a place where we could fight. Though with his age and the fact that we have a gladiator but is an instrumentalist, I would be willing to say, especially because we did this randomly, that the popular demand could sort of straddle the two, where it's either a place to perform music or a place to perform combat feats. Oh, a school teacher robe? Well, that might end up actually just being his vestments for when he administers, for when he administers his religious education. A champion robe, like boxer. So it's like a satin robe with like gold trim, and he has match. So his costume would be it was his costume now is actually his champion outfit from when he was young, 450 years ago. All right, now, what about his personality? So we have a very ancient figure, someone who, I love the idea, someone who's not, his god or goddess has not allowed him to pass on until he finds someone who is worthy of taking on the champion. You know, the power, the model. I guess it would almost be like an All Might character. I've played this class background specialization. You can totally perform both ways. Oh, with an Instrumentalist Gladiator? And I believe so, but if you want to share a story from your tabletop, Oro, you're welcome to do so. Well, so he's one of your husbands, oh sheeps, and there you go. So we have a very ancient All Might who's looking for someone to pass his powers down to that's worthy. Oh, he's your third husband. Okay. Your first third husband or your second third husband? Yeah, like Uncle Iroh. Yeah, Iroh cat. All Might, Iroh, just that old mentor, the Templar from the third Indiana Jones movie, someone like that. Oh, he's your third husband. Okay, so he's in the third husband slot, but he's number 3 in that slot. Yeah, gotcha. All right, now his personality. His first trait is number 6. It's a little bit scrolled off for you all, but I'll be sure to narrate it here. Personality trait number 6. I get bitter if I'm not the center of attention. And number 5, I love a good insult, even one directed at me. No, we've not done that, Oro. So he loves being the center of attention, and especially loves a good insult, even if it's directed at him. Now, his ideal is number 5. People. I like seeing the smiles on people's faces when I perform. That's all that matters. His bond to the world is number 3. I want to be famous, whatever it takes. And it seems that he must have struck a deal along the way to receive this Methuselah lifespan. And so at some point in his life, he did something, whatever it took, and it fixed him into this state. And lastly, his flaw, because we are all flawed creatures, even if we're chosen by the gods themselves. Number 3. A scandal prevents me from ever going home again. That kind of trouble seems to follow me around. So he's always on the move. And he's very famous, or perhaps he's very infamous. Maybe that's why he needs to change his guise. Because people remember him for something that happened a long time ago, and he's never been forgiven for it, whether it was his fault or not. And so you have someone who is celebrated, is known as a champion, and yet his flaw, almost like we see in Greek mythology, you know, many of the heroes there also have flaws that make them unpopular. Or the gods themselves might do awesome things, but a lot of the gods are jerks. And so people may want to earn the favor of the gods. At the same time, you don't want them to mess up because something bad will happen. All right. My computer better not force. We have a time limit, everyone. My computer, it wants to force a restart perhaps in an hour, and it might just kick me off without saying. It probably won't even say, like, prompt it again. It's like, well, you said an hour. I don't. You do not have an option here. All right, speed character. Let's see what happens here. I think we can get through this. All right, so I want to be famous whatever it takes, and he did something that was probably the scandal, but that's also what earned him his long lifestyle. And so really to maybe make up for that scandal, he needs to find someone else who's worthy to take up the mantle and the challenge. So I'm definitely getting an old Greek mythology vibe from this character. All it said was restart now, okay, or delay an hour. All right, so we have his personality. Now, let's make him a gnome. I'll save, don't worry. We'll get to a point here. All right, all gnomes have an intelligence boost of 2. Hey, that's great for a knowledge cleric. I mean, it's still a wisdom base, but you know. Anyway, so our ability score increases 2. And our speed is 25 feet, giving us 12 climb, 12 swim, and 0 fly. We do get 60 feet of dark vision. Gnome cunning. We have advantage on all int, whiz, and chaw saving throws against magic. Languages is going to be common and gnome, or gnomish. Gnomic. And as a rock gnome, our constitution increases by 1. We also get Artificer's Lore. It's kind of like stone cunning, but for magic items, alchemical objects, and whatnot. We also are a tinker. And we get to make several little fun tools along some guidelines. If you roll a rock gnome, have fun with this. Work with your DM and make some really cool stuff. Make some really cool things. He went to Avernus, made a deal that he would be unbeatable in an arena. Catch was he can't die until he finds a successor willing to sell their soul for fame. Well, then, what's his loss? What would he be out in that case? Because he's like, well, why have someone sell their soul and I get to live forever? Oh, Sheeps can't stop thinking about All Might now. But why would he want to, Phoenix? And I'm not against the idea. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but what would be the motivation? Like, I gotta dupe someone into selling their soul so I can die? Oh no, I get to live forever and I'm not corrupting someone. I guess, Phoenix? At the same time, this guy could be a good face or a heel, because he likes it either way. He wants to be the center of attention. He loves a good insult. He always seems to want to perform. All right, so now we have our background. We have our racial stuff here. Now for our classes. Remember, we are going to split between Paladin and Cleric. And where would be in the... Well, your Sacred Oath, you have a capstone at level 20. And so we're not going to be able to reach that because we're forcing a multi-class. Let's see. We get something. We get a Mighty Deed at level 7. We also get Glorious Defense. Oh my goodness. Glorious Defense is so disgusting. My goodness. This is a very gross ability. But if we did split it, let's say we split it at 15. So yeah, we'd get Cleansing Touch at 14, Sacred Oath feature. But that would give us 5 levels of Cleric. And what would we get as a 5 levels of Cleric? We would get Destroy Undead CR1 half. I think we should be a little bit more generous, though, with the split. You know, at 6th level, we'd get another Divine Domains feature. And even at 8, we would do so as well, and our Destroy Undead would go up. And so if we did a 12-8 split, what would we get? We'd still get Mighty Deed. And for Paladin, we'd have improved Divine Smite and Aura of Courage. I think that might be a good split, because remember, we want to favor our original class of Paladin. So let's do that. Let's give a 12-8 split between Paladin and Cleric. Well, that could be the case, Phoenix. And so, you know, maybe he likes fighting or something to a degree. So you're saying that he needs to harvest a soul of someone so that he can finally die after so long? And yeah, with that, he would see everyone, including his family, die around him. All right, let's build 12 levels of Paladin. Then we'll explore what it takes to multi-class, especially because we're going to have an interesting interaction with Channel Divinity. So remember, your proficiency bonus is character level based, not your class. So we still get a +6 at 20th level. We are going to get, we are a D10 hit die class, and so we're going to get 12. We're going to get 12 D10 from our Paladin. We are going to get all armors and shields. All martial and simple weapons. Our saving throws are wisdom and charisma. And then we get to choose 2 skills from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Religion, I would imagine, would be a big one for him, given his circumstances. And probably athletics as well. So he has acrobatics and athletics behind him. Now, if you have another suggestion, please let me know. That this is our character we're building, not mine. For starting equipment, I'm not worried about starting equipment. You know, we can do something like strength and thrown, but at level 20, I can't even predict what a DM would give this person for weapons, armor, and all that. And so ranged weapons, dex. You know, you could say finesse, but finesse is strength option, so he's probably going to go strength with that. So this will be a placeholder when we finally drop his scores in. He needs to find a new champion. Well, so there's that. So then I'm confused. Does he need to? Does he need to corrupt a soul Because Avernus is the first layer of the 9 hells. So does he need to corrupt someone and have them sell their soul to a devil? But how would that carry on a line of champions? Well, I guess that's where I'm getting confused. Like, I get if he's carrying a divine spark of some kind, but if it's a divine spark that he sold his soul to a devil, and he needs to get someone else to sell their soul, I guess I'm getting a bit of a mixed signal. I'm not understanding. Or are we talking about two different things? All right, so we're going to get Divine Sense. We can sense fiends, among other things. We're going to get Lay on Hands. And at level not level 14, at level 12, we are going to get 60 points of Lay on Hands. Santa, you say that he sold his soul, but he got it back. Maybe he fought for it about 300 years ago, and now basically he's the one proposing the pact. So he's actually, in this sense, he would be sort of like almost like a warlock patron, a self-made warlock patron of heroism, of athleticism, maybe almost like a blade lock patron. That could be interesting. To have a character die but effectively ascend to be a patron. A self-made warlock. Yeah, someone who's just absolutely been through everything. Has all this experience to share and... Deception to the student to sell their soul to save a loved one that's in danger, but really they are fine and just wants them to show him that they are worthy. So he didn't actually sell his soul? Maybe the arena is run by two opposing devils behind the scenes, and it's the devil's champion mantle he's passing on. I think I'm getting what you're going for. I'm gonna keep posting up abilities here as y'all are chatting, so that I can process that. Yeah, I feel a little lost as well, O'Sheeps. I'm not saying that they're bad ideas, but maybe because there's a couple different ideas or interpretations, or just how we have someone who's fighting on behalf of devils, but is a knowledge cleric, who is also a heroism paladin. Not that you can't make an infernal bargain for power or for glory and have people this is a classic Beowulf stuff. So a heroic paladin can be flawed or even be a bad or dishonest person, as Beowulf was proven to be. So we get a fighting style, we have defense, so we make very good use of our armor. Spell casting, we're going to get there, not worried about that right now. We are going to have improved Divine Smite by the time we hit level 12. So I'm just going to type that here. Improved Divine Smite. And we also have Divine Health. We are immune to disease. Our Oath, we're not going to worry about the Oath just yet. We are going to get an extra attack. We are going to have an Aura of Protection and an Aura of Courage. And we're not going to hit level 14 for Cleansing Touch, which is fine. It's fine. All right, now let's take a look at what we get from our Sacred Oath in our Unearthed Arcana here, from being a hero, right? Strive to be known by deeds, not words. Every hardship serves to challenge your abilities and harden your resolve. You didn't choose this path, but it's yours to walk, and it will carry you into legend. And like raw stone, your body must be worked so its potential can be realized. We are going to get some Oath spells, so we might as well type these in right now, because it's going to have to happen anyway. And he's only level 12, so he doesn't get the next step of compulsion or freedom of movement here. So we get Expeditious Retreat and Guiding Bolt. We get Enhance Ability and Enthrall. We get Haste. And we get Protection from Energy. We are going to get Channel Divinity. Really, Channel Divinity is going to end up being something shared. So I'm going to put that. I'm going to put this here as its own separate thing because we're multi-classing in with two classes that both have Channel Divinity. So we are getting Peerless Athlete and Legendary Strike. This allows us to get a bonus action. We gain advantage on athletics or acrobatics checks for 10 minutes. Or for a minute, we can crit on 19s or 20s. Then we get Mighty Deed, or an Almighty Deed. Your actions on the battlefield can supernaturally bolster your allies and demoralize your enemies. Whenever you score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points, you can choose one or more creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you up to a number equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. All the chosen creatures are affected by one of the following effects of your choice. Creature gains temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus charisma, or the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be frightened of you until the start of your next turn. And we're just a level shy of getting Glorious Defense. You know, if we do end up getting... I almost wonder if we shouldn't actually make it. I know it wouldn't be efficient for ASIs. Oh no, because we'd have to stack on 3 more for Glorious. I was thinking of the next level here to go 13-7. We'd really only be doing it maybe for an extra spell slot. Nah. Let's stick with what we have. We gotta be happy with what we have. Otherwise, again, we'll nitpick forever. We'll second guess ourselves. Let's go with this concept. The character randomizer or the character sheet that we use on the channel. He's 500 years old. He should be level 21. You want to sneak on that extra Paladin level? You guys gonna tell anyone if we do? No, Santa, as much as that's an awesome idea, this character would be compelling to play. I think would make for an awesome NPC. A prior version of the character randomizer is pinned in our Table Talk section, Phoenix, on our Discord. And if you want this character sheet, you can find that in the stream content. Just download another character that we made, and you can just erase the data and use it yourself. Or you might find it also on Charvar. It might still be there too. All right. We have made our Paladin. And in fact, let me put here Paladin class, Paladin archetype. And so now, here we have Cleric class stuff. And Cleric archetype. Or again, subclass, you know. Raven said something. Raven said he'd have to have the student perform the ritual to sell their soul. I'm open to it, I guess. I'm just really confused how... to me, and it's fine, we all have different concepts. I don't know how devils are getting involved in the character. I'm not saying that they can't. It's just, it just seems like, I don't know, kind of confusing or jarring to me. Oh, wait, so I'm lost. I'm sorry. I do see that Santa is speaking perfect French, though. Oh, ho, 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 oui, oui, le petit free level. It's an epic level? Maybe. There's no real epic that like, things don't go to level 30. And I don't want to start introducing homebrew rules that aren't in the player's handbook. So I get that this that this character might qualify to be epic in that sense. However, remember, epic levels are level 17 through 20. In 5th edition, you are an epic level character at level 17. It's not like 4th edition or 3rd edition or prior, where 20 is the cap, and then past that is epic. In 5th, 17 is epic level. Now, that said, again, you could homebrew whatever you want. You want to give them 20 levels of Paladin and 20... Let's go old school. Let's go 3rd edition. We'll stack on, 15 levels of Paladin and 12 levels of Cleric and 3 levels of Wizard and... All right, Santa, be well. Bone chance, Santa. Well, we didn't roll to add feats, so we're going to go all ASIs, Oro. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, if you're building this character yourself at home, add feats instead. Well, yeah, I mean, as a DM, Raven, we could have it be whatever, but we're sticking to what the player's handbook is presenting for character creation. I love the extra ideas, and I don't mind bringing up and talking about it, but, for presentation's sake, or let's say that there's someone new who's watching this video on YouTube, who knows, a year or 2 years into the future. Hi, by the way, from the past. I don't want to suddenly throw in homebrew considerations in a workshop for character building in a more... Like, let's think outside the box, but let's stick to the core. Okay, gotcha, Raven. Gotcha. Alright, so let's go to Chapter 6 and find out what is going to happen when we multi-class. Remember, you must have stats in your original class and the class into which you want to expand. So for Paladins, we need Strength and Charisma. And then for Cleric, we need Wisdom, all at a minimum of 13. So I'm gonna put a 13 here, and here, just to act as guideposts. That by the time, we would hit 3 ASIs, that we can add on 2 more as a Cleric. So we'll have 13 to be able to do that. Now, we do get light, medium armor, and shields as proficiencies, but we already have that as a Cleric, as a Paladin. So we don't really get anything proficiency-wise for becoming a Cleric. Now, this is where we need to take an extra consideration, more than just available spell slots. Channel Divinity. If you already have the Channel Divinity feature and gain a level in a class that also grants the feature, you gain the Channel Divinity effects granted by that class, but getting the feature again doesn't give you an additional use of it. You gain additional uses only when you reach a class level that explicitly grants them to you. For example, if you are a Cleric 6, Paladin 4, you can use Channel Divinity twice between rests because you are a high enough level in the Cleric class to have more uses. Whenever you use the feature, you can use any of the Channel Divinity effects available to you from your 2 classes. So that is going to be something to take into consideration. Hello, the Midnight Samurai. Would your starting class essentially determine your... Yes, your starting class determines your saving throws. Even if you go 1 level Paladin, you are locked into Paladin saves, even if you're second, if you multi-class at level 2 into Cleric. He doesn't have a name yet. We'll call him Beat the Reset right now. Who's going to be a Paladin 12, Cleric 8. We're not at naming time just yet, Oro. We don't need to make it random. I would love to take suggestions from all of you if you're getting a feeling for someone who'd have a name in some capacity. No problem, Kat. No problem. Now, spell slots, we're going to add... we're going to be a 14th level caster, effectively. As we have 8 levels of Cleric, which is a full caster, and as Paladins are half casters, this is 6. So 8 plus 6 means that we are going to have these spell slots available to us. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. However, we'll only have spells in the levels of the classes that we can cast. We'll have the potential to cast higher, but we'll have a lower overall spell selection. Alright, now let's see what we get for being a Cleric now that we're multi-classing into it. We already have our proficiency bonus. That's based on character level. We are going to pick up some cantrips. So this is going to be, I'm going to label this, even though Paladins don't get cantrips, I'm going to call this Cleric 1. And we have 8 levels, so we're going to get 4. Cleric 2, Cleric 3, Cleric 4. We're not worried about spell slots. We already have that. Now, we do get hit dice. Clerics are a D8 hit die class, and we get 8 of them. So we're splitting them over here, you can see. On this character sheet, it's really nice, especially if you multi-class. So when you do choose to roll hit dice in between, you know, or on a rest, you can choose, do you want to start using your Cleric hit dice, or do you want to start using your D10 Paladin hit dice? I'm not worried about starting equipment. We're level 20. We're probably going to have something more than chainmail that we're wearing. Actually, I'm sorry. When you multi-class, you don't get the starting equipment and the proficiencies. You only get what it says in Chapter 6, and we already have those proficiencies from Paladin. So we get hit points. We skip proficiencies. We do not get the equipment. Spell casting, it's going to roll into it, so don't worry about it. Divine Domain, we have knowledge. So we'll get there in a second. However, here we go. We have Channel Divinity. So Channel Divinity, we can use it twice between rests. And from our Paladin, I gotta double check that real quick. Channel Divinity. You get 1. So we'll get Channel Divinity. 3 per rest. And I'm putting generic rest because it's short or long. Now we're going to go back to Cleric and put down our Channel Divinity. We are, by this level, we're actually going to have Destroy Undead. And that is going to be a CR1 or lower. And then we're going to get, actually, we're going to end up getting 2. Ooh, we have so many options from a Knowledge Cleric. And that's all we get from base Cleric, because we're not high enough level to get Divine Intervention. Arguably, we've already had that happen to us. Alright, so Divine Domains, the Knowledge Domain here. At level 1, you get 2 languages of your choice, and you become proficient in your choice of 2 of the following skills. So let's add on 2 more languages. And then we can learn Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. Well, we're so old, we are History. So History for sure. Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. We already have Religion. Arcana, like if we do want to talk about extraplanar stuff, if we, you know, Arcana tends to be things, it could be religion as well, but about other planes like the 9 Hells, or, you know, if we see magic being used in combat, that could come in handy. So perhaps Arcana would be a good one here too. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of those skills. Welcome back, Cat. Yes, a male rock gnome, hero oath paladin, knowledge domain cleric, who's over 500 years old. If cleric and paladin have the same throws midnight, then it is what it is. All right, now we have oath spells, and now we have some domain spells to throw in here too. And we're going to have access to cleric level 7 here. So we are going to have domain. Here we go. I'm going to scoot this over so I can type this a little bit easier. We have command and identify. We have augury and suggestion. We have non-detection and speak with dead. And then we have arcane eye and confusion. Blessings of knowledge. Our channel divinities. We get more channel divinities. This is such a gross combo with peerless athlete and knowledge of the ages. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Chandiv to tap into a divine well of knowledge. As an action, you choose one skill or tool. For 10 minutes, you have proficiency with a chosen skill or tool. Any athletics, we are Gaston, right? We can do everything. We're the best at everything. No one can beat us. We might be 500 years old, but we eat 6 dozen eggs. So what does it matter? We also can read thoughts. At 6th level, you can use your channel divinity to read a creature's thoughts. You can then use your access to the creature's mind to command it. And boo! All this stuff. Hey, we could have someone throw the fight. Read thoughts. And at 8th level, which we do have at 8th level here, you add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any cleric cantrip. And so we get potent spell casting. And there we go. You're feeling horrible from being sick. Gonna jump on my PS4 for some FF9 action. Oh, enjoy. Find and play all the cards. I would stream, but again, I'm sick, so time for R&R. Yeah, it will boot soon. Thank you, Raven. Raven, if you do stream, make sure you post it up. And if you did stream, then maybe I could come over and give you all a raid or something. We'll, not tonight. You got to take care of yourself. So what's your thought behind that name, Oro? Belgrim, Sar Strumming, Fenley Rocket? All right, so there we go. This is what we get for being a cleric. So we have the chassis of our character. It's now time to drop the engine into it and empower him. We already have a character. We can think of decisions that he'll make. We understand reasons why he'd make them. We've even been discussing possible backstory elements. He has a history, he has a present, and we can presume what he'd do into the future. We have a character, but for math reasons and mechanics, we better put some numbers down. So we have the starting array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. You know what? I think his arthritis is definitely acting up. His dexterity should be an 8. He has, let's see. He's starting as a paladin, and especially as an athlete, he would need a high strength. So we definitely take care of that. A starting strength of 15. And a certain charm to be a gladiator. So we're going to have him have a 14 charisma there. So we've taken care of that. We can put the 13 in wisdom just to take care of that as well. To show that, somewhere down the line, he would have what it takes. If that's the case, we have a 12 and a 10 that remain. I'm kind of thinking going 12 con and 10 int, especially because he's getting the boosties there. So if we do this, he's starting at level 1 at a 13 con and a 12 intelligence. So from here, we get to add 10 points to his stats because he's had 5 stat boosts. 4, 8, 12, and then, well, technically another 4 and an 8 in his other class. Though normally you'd get a 16 and a 19. You don't like gnome names that sound like a WoW name? Well, it doesn't have to here. I mean, you could just call him George if you want to. But food puns are A-okay. What's the food pun, then? Cat says, Fenley Rocket, the strong, set teacher, gladiator loner that loves attention. Well, no. We can use it or part of it, but what is Fenley Rocket? Like, what are your thoughts behind it? Like, how did he get the Rocket family name, or does Fenley mean something? Is it a pun? Just random? Hey, random is fine too. He likes fennel. So we have 10 points to throw in here. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. Seven, 8. Bring wisdom to 16 or charisma to 18. Well, he's splitting duties between Paladin and Cleric. Let's have him split his duties. Oh, that's yeah. Okay, so surstrumming is that it's like that old, like, it's like pickled herring that is supposed to just like smell and taste like no one should ever consume it, and yet people do for some reason. Fenley is reference to feline. Rocket is rocket. So like a rocket raccoon, he's a feline rocket. Oh, gotcha. Okay, Cat. So this is a 4 strength, -1 dex. We'll come to that in just a second here. 2 con, 1 int, 3 wisdom, 3 charisma. This is going to give our strength saving throw of 4. Our athletics is going to be a 10. Dexterity saving throw, -1. However, acrobatics is a +5. Constitution is at 2. Int is 1, except Arcana, which is 13, and History, which is 13. And Religion is a solid 7, not 78. Wisdom saving throw is a 9. And 3 down the line for the others. Charisma saving throw is 9. Performance is 9. And 3 down the line for the others. Armor class is going to be variable. I don't know what he's going to wear at level 20. Passive perception is 13, 10 plus our perception modifier. So he might be, he still sees stuff going on, but, maybe the ears are not working like they used to, or the eyes. Initiative is -1, as that's a dex check. Hit points. We get, at level 1, as we started as a paladin, we get our full 10 hit points. Then for our remaining 11 levels, we get half +1 of our hit die, which is 6. Then for all 8 of our cleric, we get half +1, which is 5. Remember, you don't get the full 1 when you multi-class on that first level. Then for all 20 of our levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. So here we have 40 plus 40 plus 66 plus 10. So we have 80 plus 76. We have 156 hit points. Which is far less than our Bard Sorcerer. Alright, strength weapons. He is attacking at a venerable +10. Ranged at only a +5. His hands kind of shake a little bit. That's fine. Now, if we're attacking with our spells, Paladin is off of Charisma, Cleric is off of Wisdom. However, their scores are the same, so we don't necessarily have to segregate the two when it comes to our attacks and our saves. So when we attack, it's at a +9. To save is a 17 for both. And so down here, spellcasting is going to be Chaw/Wiz. Oh, it's been an hour. We're gonna wait an hour. Haha. What do you think of that? Saving throws though do translate to be the same. Oh, wait, it was a +9, right? Yeah, and then a 17. And then we have a pool of lay on hands because we already have our channel divinity, which normally we'd put here if it was just a cleric. We had 60 points. We have a paladin. Spells. Paladin / cleric. Spells prepared equals X/Y. So you can prepare a number of paladin spells of your charisma modifier plus half your paladin level. So that's 9. We can prepare 9 paladin spells. And then as we're full casters, as clerics, we get 8 plus wisdom as we're 8 levels of cleric. So that's 11. So we can prepare every day 11 cleric spells and 9 paladin spells that we can split among the slots in which we can cast. And this is going to be 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. Now, just to show though, we can cast Paladin and Cleric here, Paladin and Cleric here, Paladin and Cleric here, Cleric here. And then these are simply the X's represent we can juice up our spells through these slots, but we cannot prepare either Paladin or Cleric spells in them, as we're not high enough level to cast in the slots. We just have them as a power-up ability. And cantrips, we had 4 Cleric, if I recall, yes. So we have C1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go. I'm sorry, just looking at chat. Something about Claritin. That's a really smelly reason for why you can't go home. Oh yeah, if it's the pickled fish or the fermented fish. I was trying to count while you were saying numbers, and I was amazed I actually kept my count. If you say something to me or ask me something and I don't respond, it's because my phone died. I don't have another source to watch the stream. Okay, well, we're finishing up right now, Katniss. Or Cat. Oh, you know what? The favor he received. The favor he received maybe back in his youth. Something that could be, you know, the favor of a lover or someone who enjoyed watching him perform. Maybe it was even a memory of you know, the person he met that would go on to become a significant other or something along those lines. Kat, would you type !1D100 and let's find out this favor, this trinket that he's held on to for 400 years or whatever, that has been so valuable to him. Maybe even a part of it what explains his heroic deeds or his conversion into this knowledge domain. You rolled a 29. A pair of old socks. Whose socks are they? What do they mean to him? Are they made of valuable material? Did they belong to... It could be. I mean, many athletes also have traditions of, you know, they never change their socks before the big game because it'll bring bad luck. Or, you know, these were Maybe the socks are something that has sentimental value. They were the socks that someone trained in long ago. Oh, it doesn't mean they have to be. They're old. It doesn't mean they have to be dirty. They could be, but these could just be very ancient socks that he's held on to. Maybe it was me. You know, maybe he his in his first fight he was wearing those socks and he's just held on to them ever since. He's never put them on again because he doesn't want that luck to rub off. But yeah, athletes have all kinds of traditions along those lines. So whether they're stinky or not, or maybe they have a special pattern, or who knows. They used to scrape down gladiators and mix the... Oh, yeah, exactly. And mix the sweat with soap for the nobles' wives. Yeah, they would scrub them with olive oil, and they'd also use, like, olive branches to, like, scrape and sort of, like, thwack at them. And then I think they also used pumice or something as a way, like, to take the olive oil and kind of scrape it down to get the sweat and the oils and everything off of the gladiators. You are absolutely correct, Phoenix. Yeah, so Katniss, maybe the person who wears the socks next are the ones who will inherit the title. You know, it could be as simple as that. He's looking for someone who understands the old tradition. Hey, kid. I see you're getting ready for a fight. You want to wear these socks? Nah, old man, whatever. I got my own. Moves on. Hey, kid, looks like you're getting ready for a fight. I got some lucky socks. You want to put them on? What? No, those stinky old things? I washed them. Nah, whatever. So for hundreds of years, people kept rejecting his socks. No one wants to uphold the tradition of the first pair of lucky socks until that one person he finds to pass it on. Never understood why it's meant for the wives and not the husbands. You get that contact buzz of masculinity. They're leading him towards the right town into which to find the right successor. So he's wearing this. So you think the socks actually guide him on his journey, especially as apparently everywhere behind him is some sort of infamy. So the socks point him in a quasi-mystical fashion. That could very well be. The socks take you on, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step. And yet, despite their age and how worn they look, they never get holes in them, or maybe they even never get stinky or sweaty. Heck, I'd wear socks like that. Hi, Cat. You having fun? He's like, yes, texture and sound. All right, my friend, he has earned a name. I mean, besides filling in spells, but that's, you do that day to day. So there were some suggestions for names. So scrolling up, we had... What? Claritin. Rocket. Fenley. Surstrumming. Belgrim. We could have Midnight. I don't think it's really necessary, though. He'll still be extremely functional at level 20 at a 19 strength. But instead of putting his strength at 20, I felt rounding out his magical abilities was more important. Because 19 is still very venerable. I mean, look, so you're hitting on a 10 instead of an 11. Sure, there's a 5% difference. At the same time, though, given the mix of magic and abilities, especially inherent with the Paladin, he is still going to be just walloping people. Because he gets Guiding Bolt. He gets all kinds of stuff that can help him out to get, if you're concerned about that extra one, there's ways you can give yourself advantage magically or through strategy. And because he's a gladiator, because he fights intelligently, as the player, if we're going to roleplay that we're going to pilot this character, we would want someone who can think on his heels, someone who can use performance in combat, or from the insane amount of spells that we can choose from Paladin and Cleric spells, let alone what we get from our Oath and our Domain spells. We can absolutely make up for a 5% difference. Yeah, I know the feels, Midnight Samurai. But I'm glad that, I'm glad you found us, you gave us a chance, and you've been along on the ride with this workshop. It's very intriguing, it's a lot of fun. We get to think about, what makes a character beyond the numbers. Because the numbers are the last thing that we slot in. I absolutely don't care about the numbers as we're building the character. And once we understand who he is, how he makes decisions, what's his backstory and his motivation, the numbers will make sense afterwards. All of our skill proficiencies are based on who he is. So everything is organically grown despite being randomly determined. And so he's a complete character, front to back, soup to nuts. And he's still mechanically functional. Is he, he's definitely not min-maxed. He's not care-opt. He's not optimized in any way. But this is a fun, solid character that can still perform at level 20, has an awesome backstory, reasons to exist in the world, and can be a very compelling part of the story to tell if you're a player, and even especially if this ends up being an NPC, a non-player character for your stories out there, everyone. But Midnight Samurai, thank you for finding us. You're going to see this is our bread and butter. We live and breathe this. We produce random numbers. We make awesome characters and settings. We do adventure outlines. We make NPCs and villains through similar methodology. And it's all wonderful exercise to help us flex our mental muscle. And Midnight Samurai, I'm happy I earned that follow. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you are an Eternal DM, as a way to fundraise for the channel, that's beyond just, I appreciate subscriptions, I appreciate bits and donations. However, I do sell miniatures, as I own a store, and so I get miniatures in, and if you need miniatures, and you feel that I've earned your business, we can pop open boxes. I also do gotcha grab bag capsules here. Just last night, someone got a gargantuan green dragon out of these. There's dice and all sorts of other painted and unpainted minis. Dice bags, painting sets, all kinds of stuff are in here. All right, everyone, I got to get up in like a 5-minute stretch. Just get up, refresh yourself. We'll come back. We can answer questions. We can wrap stuff up. Midnight, if you still have, I can Midnight. Yes. Obviously I'd find the best price I can. But I've shipped to Australia. I've shipped to England. I've shipped, let's see, a couple other countries all around the US, including Alaska. Can you have another one? I suppose I can go grab one for you, Sheeps. Anyway, we'll come back in a little bit, and I'll answer questions, and we can go from there as we wind up our workshop.